You started Lattice at 26.
Yeah.
Who'd you raise from? What was that process like? Why Lattice as well? You must have been from your Teespring experience.
Our seed investor was Miles Grimshaw. He led our seed. We had others too, but he was the first sort of real institutional lead we had. I can talk about, and then was on the board since the Series A, and I worked with him closely for a long time. Why I started it was basically I saw the problem, but not the solution.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we knew there was a problem, but it also explains why we didn't get the right product for several tries. But basically from Teespring, I could feel the problem of like employee management is unnatural, difficult, and it needs structure. And I didn't know what was needed. And so that's why it took us a few products to get there, but we knew that something was going on.
Very cool.
Yeah.
What was it like? You mentioned a lot of, especially during time at Z+, the product iterations. I think it took you 4, if I'm not mistaken, to really hit that fit. What was that like?
It was painful. And what was particularly painful about it was we didn't have there's a lack of product market fit where you launch and it's complete crickets.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually a blessing because you save a lot of time and tears and you just move on. And instead what we had was consistent interest and a lot of people who were like, yeah, I want what you're telling me. I want to solve the problem that you're talking to me about. And so as a result, I want to try what you've made. And that was actually a head fake because it meant that we spent a lot more time trying to get one more feature. And maybe if we just do this thing, they'll buy it. Or maybe if we just change that, they will stick with us or whatever. But it like wasn't ever going to be enough kind of thing.
What are some of those niche little hacks? I think during our January Z-Files court, you had told some guys that you'd be in a tech spaces with your customers, go to their office, get drinks with them, really have them dig into you, tell you what's good, what's bad, and how do you actually form that relationship?
Yeah. So, I mean, the reason that I think that's so important to become friends with your users is because without having done that, I never would have realized what was needed to get to actual product market fit. And if you can get to a place where you're friends with your users, then they will stop BSing you. When it's just a cordial, superficial relationship, most people don't want to deliver bad news to a founder. Most people don't want to say, this idea is dumb. Most people don't want to say, this product isn't going to solve anything serious, or actually, you're just like barking up the wrong tree in general, and you've wasted the last 8 months of your life. And like, that's actually what you kind of need to hear. And only somebody who cares about you will tell you that. And that was really important. The other reason why it's important to get to like a really good relationship, besides their willingness to give you more hard news, is that's how you get broken through into understanding them at a level where you can really know the insights that you need to see what matters to them. So like if you're on a first Zoom call with an HR leader and you ask them what matters to you, they're going to give you a somewhat polished answer about what their priorities are and whatever. Versus when you really get into it and you know somebody better, they'll tell you what they're stressed about. They'll tell you why they're worried about getting fired. They'll tell you what they think it's going to take for them to get promoted. They'll tell you what they really don't care about that they have to act like they care about. And you get to like the real answers on stuff. And then you understand what actually makes a market tick. And you need to get to that level of ground truth to build something that's going to matter. And so I think it's just really, really important to get to that level of, it doesn't have to be friendship, but you have to really know who your user is. I didn't grow up as an HR person. I didn't work as an HR person. And so I didn't have that context. And so I had to earn it somehow. But you need to get there one way or another, I think.
Why did you choose to go through YC?
I just thought this is like I thought it was going to be because I could sell to other YC companies. And I also thought that it was going to be like a good sort of like stamp of branding and approval and whatever else that you want when you're just getting a company started. And I think when you're in the early days, you are so hungry for any approval. And I think that is both a strength and a weakness for early companies. I think the strength of it is that it makes you want to succeed, and it makes you want to get affirmation, and it gives you like a fire in your belly to like not give up until you have something. The negative is that it can make you chase the wrong stuff, and it can make you chase approval from the wrong people or for the wrong reasons. But those are probably the reasons.